Mr. Senis, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Yes. When we ended our hearing last week, the statements I released was that we were treading very dangerous grounds as the resource person mentioned that his source emanated from the Senate. I felt that it was important for us to determine who that source was because it was also determined in the last hearing that the statements issued by Mr. Senes in his program was false. And if indeed it is from the Senate, interparliamentary relations between the House and the Senate are now put in question. Because parang lumalabas, may nag-leak ng hindi makatotohanan ng balita mula sa Senado patungkol sa House of Representatives. At noong December 3, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair, Senate President Subiri issued a statement. And if I may be allowed to read, he stated, "I have no knowledge whatsoever of anyone from the Senate leaking information to any reporter on any House matter. Until the concerned reason that these allegations are anything more than intrigues being sown to create controversy and fake news. We respect interparliamentary courtesy and would not want to put a rift in the strong partnership that we have with the House, with the leadership and the members of the House. I would suggest that the House continue the investigation until they get to the bottom of this accusation and press for the concerned person to reveal the name of their alleged source in the Senate. Otherwise, the House can cite them in contempt. If they can prove it's an employee of the Senate, then we will initiate disciplinary action on those involved." Quote unquote from Senate President Miguel Subiri. So now, Mr. Senis, I would just like to reiterate my question. The source, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of this committee, may I be allowed, please, to manifest a statement of clarification before I proceed to answer the question of Honorable Congressman J.D. Suarez, because I believe that the statement that I am going to make as an opening premise to the answer that I should be giving to the Honorable Congressman will settle everything and clarify before the nation a very important statement that I want to make. Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed, please?
Before I allow you, I'd like to remind everyone that your oath has been administered in the last session, and this will continue up to today. So, you're under oath.
Yeah.
Lahat ng sabi po natin ay ang katotohanan. Okay?
Can I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable ako.
Meron pong katanungan si Honorable Suarez, di po ba?
Okay.
Hindi man sagutin lang ng resource person or witness yung katanungan mo.
Okay.
Bago siya mag-explain. Okay. Resource person.
Thank you for the reminder, Congressman Ako, sir. And to the members of this committee, I feel, and it is my right to state before this committee and the August Chamber of Congress, that this committee is not about the law. No one in government is about the law. We are a government of laws. I am protected under the so-called law. I have the constitutional right. I requested for a record that I may be given competent advice and assistance of a legal counsel, and such right is guaranteed by the Constitution. And such right is also stipulated clearly in Section 12 of the governing House rules pertaining to committee hearing and conduct of investigation. And even if I am not in a court trial, the right to seek out counsel advice and assistance from the counsel is a part of principle of due process, a principle guaranteed by the Constitution. And I believe before I answer any further question, may I manifest respectfully and humbly before this committee that all the statements, even after under oath, in the absence of competent legal advice and assistance previously, may be granted to be stricken off the record because I believe my constitutional rights were violated.
Point of order.
Yes.
The answer manifestation of Mr. Seves is out of order. So the is out of order because you cannot dictate in this house and you cannot move only members that you ask members of this house.
Yes, I am explaining.
No,
I am not moving.
no, your manifestation is out of order.
I am
Do
requesting.
not take your ass
No, I am
out the
not
rules
requesting.
of this.
I am standing up for my right. I am standing up for my right.
Remember, we might cite you in contempt.
Then so be it. Your Honor.
You challenge us?
Yes,
Okay.
if that will be sin in the nation, na walang karapatan ang mga invited guests dito na magpahayag, Your Honor, with due respect to you, I do not believe na ang kongresong ito ay lalabag sa
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
So be it, Mr.
I don't think,
Your Honor.
wala out of order. And what's the position of the chair?
I will need, Mr. Chairman, I will give up my right to free speech and be respected under the Constitution because this August Chamber is obligated by law.
Sandali lang po.
Mr. Chairman.
Eric.
May I explain why I...
Yes, the Honorable ako is recognized and I understand. Yung sinasabi po ng ating mga ng ating bisita. Pero alam po ninyo, last, kung ang ginagamit nyo po ay yung hearing nung huli at wala ka representasyon, hindi po namin kasalanan. Kasalanan po ng mga abogado ng SMNI dahil sila mismo on record ang nagsabi na they are here to represent SMNI and not the anchors because yung distansya nga po sila. Ang sabi nila, hindi po namin kapaho ang bigyan ng representasyon ang anchor. That's why nung humingi po kayo, ang pinaliwanag ko, hindi po pwede sila mag-depensa sa inyo. Dapat po humingi kayo ng iba. Dahil hindi po pwede sila ang mag-depensa because they are on record. At that oath, ang sabi nila, kami abogado ng SMNI at hindi kami abogado ng mga anchor. Klaro po yan, Kyrie. At you're not allowed. Yes.
I just like to explain why I said him is out of order. Because he manifested that the previous record should be taken out of record. And as resource person, they are not allowed. For
Your
that.
Honor, I am going to
I am
be in this chamber and I am submitting myself before the country in protest my constitutional rights are violated in this committee. I'm sorry to say, let me be detained in this chamber and be cited in contempt.
Mr. Chairman,
I will not participate if my constitutional right will not be guaranteed. You are not here
Mr. Chairman,
to decide for my
please,
constitutional rights.
let me finish.
There's a point of order, the Honorable.
Let me finish. What I'm saying, I am not telling you to stop. What I'm saying is, by out of order. Kaya sandali, makinig ka. My out of order is all about your manifestation to straighten out. Patapusin mo ako.
Yes, sir.
Baka may bastos.
Hindi ako bastos,
Patapusin
nagpapaliwanag
mo ako.
ako.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to correct. I am not stopping him to issue statement. What I'm saying is, and what I'm pointing out of order is the manifestation that the previous statement, the previous record, should be taken out of order. And
Mr. Chairman,
another rule, he's not allowed to do it.
Point of order.
Yes, the Honorable Dan Fernandez on the point of order.
May we remind the resource speakers and the members of this committee to observe the proper decorum.
Correct.
If the chairman acknowledges a certain personality, let him speak and
Yes.
don't interrupt the members of this committee while the member is given the right to speak. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Honorable Dan Fernandez. Honorable ako, is recognized.
Mr. Seris, please be reminded that in this committee and this house, we have rules to follow. Hindi po ba namin sinusunod yung mga rules? Matanong po nga ako.
Yes, sir. I feel that is
And I
my...
would like to remind you that these rules are supposed to be followed by members of this committee and by the witnesses or resource persons to be present. And one of these rules is that before you can speak, you ask permission from the chairman. Kami nga, hindi kami nagsasalita. Otherwise, baka mapilitan akong gawin yung hindi ko dapat gawin. Thank you.
The Honorable.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Wait, I think the Honorable Ace Barber.
I was raising a point of order earlier, but
I'm sorry, I did that.
kasi gusto ko lang i-refresh yung memory ng ating resource person na no one is curtailing your right. In fact, kaya ka nga nandito, binibigyan ka ng panahon, ng oras para magsalita. But do not play to the crowd saying that your rights are violated in this committee. It's not. Tayo ay nasa demokrasya, di ba? I believe you are a former member of the NPA. Di ba? And alam mo kung ano yung pinaglalaban natin dito, di ba? So, never, ever insult the committee, much more any of the members of this committee. Kasi, medyo yun ang affront. Yun ang affront sa amin. And do not challenge us to do what we feel is right to do to you. Because you might not like it. I'm just going to remind him of that, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
The Honorable Ace Marcos. Any other member would like to speak?
I believe that this is an aid or an equal in need of legislation, and the source persons should be reminded that they should observe proper decorum. I'd just like to remind all the source persons that under Section 11, this inquiry, or for that matter, Congress has the power to contempt. The committee may punish any person for contempt by a vote of 2/3 of the members present, there being a quorum. And there are 6 grounds for contempt. One of which is letter E, acting in a disrespectful manner towards any member of the committee or any misbehavior in the presence of the committee. So, Mr. Chair, we do not want to cite a resource person for contempt. Kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, Ka Eric, na kung pwede, please respect this committee and observe proper decorum. Nasa rules po natin na you cannot speak if you are not recognized by the chair. Actually, naka-strike 1 na po kayo, Ka Eric. Kanina, you were not recognized by the chair but you kept on talking. So again, we advise Ka Eric, we are not suppressing your rights, but also respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
There was a question raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po niyo, Kyrie, kung meron po kayo karapatan, may karapatan din po committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So, ang tanong ko, yes or no? May tanong si Congressman J.J. Suarez, huwag na po natin pahabain. Yes or no?
I will refuse to answer your honors, not because I disrespect this committee, but I will invoke my right, guaranteed by the Constitution, because I believe this committee cannot be above the law, especially the Constitution.
Can I
The
just
Honorable J.J.
raise
Suarez.
what right is that you are invoking, Mr. Sabi?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process, and even the so-called law, and even the House rules. Constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, cannot be violated by any branch of the government.
Kyrie, may katanungan. Exactly. Alam po ninyo, Kyrie, pero ba kayo kasamang abogado nito?
Answer po. That's why I am requesting since last hearing that I may be given the counsel na I will hire.
Alam niyo, if give going back, last niya, tanong ko na yun.
I will hire Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Roy Soplico as my personal choice.
Okay.
To do
So,
legal counsel.
everything that you say now is guided by your lawyer.
Not yet, sir, because they are not, Mr. Chairman, permitted and granted authority to be recognized as my legal counsel. That's why
So,
I'm
I'm
requesting.
asking you, who is your lawyer this year?
I'm hiring today, this afternoon, Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Roy Soplico.
Are the lawyers accepting that mandate? Because remember, in the last hearing, it's manifested that you are not representing
Bilis naman ma-hire
and
niyan.
Albers because of the disclaimer issue. Are you accepting? I'm accepting your honor. Attorney Lawrence. I am accepting your honor. Okay, so thank you very much. So everything that you be saying, now Ka Eric, may abogado na po kayo. Yes or no?
May I request again, Congressman Honorable J.D. Suarez to represent your please.
Okay, now with the presence of your lawyer, it's just a little bit ironic that in the past few days you've been on air talking about the hearing, talking about your opinions on about the hearing, and together with Attorney Mark Tolentino, I think there was a few episodes na magkasama pa kayong dalawa. So you're very vocal and you're very opinionated about your position. And last hearing, I just want to remind you, you apologized to the committee because the statement that you issued in your show, kasama ang bayan, tama po ba yan?
Yes, sir.
Laban kasama ang bayan. Humingi ka man ng paumanhin dahil yung sinabi mong 1.8 billion ay walang katotohanan. Sinabi niyo yun. Ngayon, sinabi mo, ang source mo ay galing sa Kongreso. Sinabi ko mula sa House of Representatives, ang sabi niyo po ay hindi po House. Dalawa po yung House, Congress at Senate. Sinabi niyo, kinonfirm niyo na lalaki ng taga-Senado. Ngayon po, naglabas na po ng statement, mismong Senate President na ang nagsasabi. Hindi na ito nanggagaling sa amin, although I am pressing the truth. And nothing is more important than the truth. So, I'm asking you, nicely,
Before that, I'd like to remind you and the lawyers that under Section 13, the participation of counsel in this hearing for the witness during the hearing and while the witness is testifying shall be limited to advising the legal rights of the witness. Is that clear, Attorney Tolentino and Attorney Subico? Directly, ha? Wala ko tayong paligo-ligo na sagot ko dito.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Thank you.
Order.
Yeah. No,
go ahead.
no. Just want to be enlightened. What is your decision regarding the prior motion made by Congressman Bernardo?
Well, that's a motion. Point of order.
No.
Thank you. Yes, proceed. Yes or no?
Yeah, thank you po, Mr. Chairman.
Please answer directly, ha? Huwag tayo masyadong
I will not answer it because I am protected by law as per advice and conference with my lawyers here. I am protected by the SOTO law unless the SOTO law is repealed. I will be under the protection of the SOTO law. Republic at number 15. And the previous statements made, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, please, were made without the competent advice of legal counsel. That's why I was requested humbly for this honorable committee chaired by Congressman Tambuntin that all those testimonies regarding the testimonies I made here can be stricken off the record if it may be considered as a request.
Okay.
Ano
Tanong po ko, ano nyo, lagi nyo sinasabi sa Soto Law? Ano pong portion ng Soto Law ang tinutukoy nyo? Anong particular provision sa Soto Law? Pakibasa po.
I will, Mr. Chairman, I will request my counsel to give me the particular provision or they may be allowed to reference the particular
We are
provision.
requesting you.
I don't have the copy of the Soto.
Then I would suggest that the council will give you a copy of the Soto Law. Because they're only supposed to, like I said earlier, hindi ko kayo pwede magsalita. Yan ang magsalita, si Kaya.
Mr. Chairman, can I be allowed to read the pertinent provision from the Soto? Without prejudice, this is section 1 of 1145A as amended. Without prejudice to his inability or ability under the civil and criminal laws, any publisher, owner, or duly recognized or accredited journalist, whether reporter, writer, contributor, opinion writer, editor, columnist, manager of media, or other media practitioner involved in the writing, editing, production, and dissemination of news or mass circulation of any print, broadcast, wire service organization, or electronic mass media, including cable TV, television, and its variants, cannot be compelled to reveal the source of any news item, report, or information appearing or being reported or disseminated through other or the said media which was related in confidence or reported in confidence. Above mentioned media practitioners unless the court or the House of Representatives or the Senate or any committee of Congress finds that such revelation is demanded by the national security of the state.
Mr. Chairman, can I explain the provision? I will have to answer first the position raised by the witness. Ang unang po sinabi nyo, accredited journalist. Kayo ba accredited journalist? Accredited, kayo po ang tinatanong po. Kayo po ba accredited journalist?
The accreditation or the license to practice journalism does not require any particular organization or government entity to give us license or accreditation for broadcast. If you are referring, Mr. Chairman, to KBP, membership to KBP is voluntary. KBP is not an absolute regulatory power for broadcast.
So, ano
They are like an NGO and private organization.
Ano pong basihan nyo, basihan ng commission niya, nung sinabi niya kailangan accredited, kayo nag-decide ng batas. Kayo nag-decide ng prohibition.
Mr. Chairman,
Accredited journalist, hindi mo kayo, sino dapat kung accredited?
SMNI is an accredited and franchise-granted media. And therefore, the prerogative in the decision for editorial decision who can broadcast or cannot broadcast in their station rests with the franchise-granted to them. Therefore, hindi po kami required na maghingi ng pahintulot sa gobyerno na mag-broadcast kami doon. Dahil kami po ay bahagi ng isang media organization na may legitimate existence as granted by party.
Yes, but remember, may disclaimer din na, kung yan ang gagawin na agreement ko, may disclaimer ko last hearing na. Ang sabi ng SMNI, hindi po nila pananagutan ang gagawin nyo. At hindi na nga raw kayo empleyado, sabi nila. So, ergo, hindi ko namin agad-agad kaya tanggapin yung inyong mungkahi. Pangalawa, I would like to remind you that this is a house inquiry which is provided for by the Sotoro. And third, katanungan ko, security of state, binanggit nyo. Ano po ito po yung security of state? Tingin nyo itong issue po, which is a reception.
Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po ay tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pondo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po ninyo,
It's not an issue of national security.
yes. Alam po rin, katanungan. Alam po yung security of state sa amin. Ito po yung sinabi nyo na empleyado ng Senado ang nagbigay. Sa amin, yan po ay seguridad ng ating institusyon, seguridad ng ating bayan. So, kaya po, ito po ay hindi nyo po pwede i-sign ang Sotoro. Mabuti po, malaman nyo na po ang posisyon. At ito, pinag-aralan po natin, may abogado po kayo, dati po kami mga abogado rito, may mga researchers po kami. At ang Sotoro ay hindi po applicable dito sa sinasecto. Sa tatlong tinanong po, pare-pareho, hindi po pwede yan. The Honorable D.J.
Thank you very
Suarez,
much.
you're recognized.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So let's just go back to points that have already been established. Number one, the statement that you issued were false. You admitted it and you apologized for it last hearing. Number two, you mentioned that your source is from Senate. And Kasan is, Mr. Senis, the law that you have just stated that you sought to use to protect your right and not to reveal your source apparently has been ruled cannot be applied. So therefore, I'm asking you again, dahil may kinalaman na may mabigat po ang kinalaman ang repercussions nito. You're talking about interparliamentary relationships between the House of Representatives and between the Senate. And none other than the Senate President has already issued a statement about this. So I don't think you see the gravity of the statements that you have issued between both.
May I be allowed to answer?
This is the fourth time I asked Mr. Senis this question. And every time I ask him this question, ang laki ng introduction, wala pa rin yung sagot. Pwede po ba this time, pag pinagbigyan natin siya magsalita, sabihin niya na po yung pangalan?
Kasi kung maging introduction na kayo, tapos i-cite nyo naman, dinisalaw ko na. Sabi ko na hindi namin kahit tarapin yung Sotoro for this particular issues, and we provided the basis for that too. Sa mga bilang-text ng provision, doon ko mismo hinugot ko yung argumento namin. Ngayon, kung hindi ko yung sasagot, we will not allow you anymore. Kasi, nag-request si David, si Congressman Suarez ng kasagutan, pangalan ang kailangan niya.
Mr. Chairman?
Magbibigay mo po kayo ng pangalan o hindi?
May I request that I be allowed to confirm with my legal counsel, please?
Oh, they're right beside you. They can confirm.
May I request for at least a 1-minute comparison?
Please.
So, mga kaibigan, tatanong.
Mr. Chairman?
Session
May I request again, please?
Okay, please proceed.
In our constitutional democracy, only the courts can interpret the laws, not Congress.
Okay.
So I will not answer that question because I believe Congress does not have the right to interpret laws.
Okay.
It is Congress to pass laws, but not to interpret.
Salamat po.
I take back my statements.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, this is the Honorable Toby Campos, recognized.
Mr. Chair, in the sense of fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celis, Eric, to reveal the source in executive session? Would the chair allow?
Yes, Eric. It's an executive session. An option for you. It's an executive session, an option for you. There's a suggestion by the Honorable Toby Campos of the Oras na kung ayaw ko sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay na ba executive session? We will go for executive session now. Para lahat ko ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo. Kaya,
That would be very dangerous for other media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse it.
salamat po.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Toby Campos still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just want to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo, na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po.
Mr. Chair, it is very clear that Mr. Celis does not want to answer the question to reveal the source whether in this inquiry or in the executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair, under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celis has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one is very more important, rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celis for on these two grounds under Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second motion. There's a second. Any objections? There's a motion, duly seconded. Any objections from any member, Mr. Chairman, of this committee? There being no objections, on a unanimous vote, the Eric is cited for.
Mr. Chairman,
I ask the Sergeant of Arms to please take on.
Mr. Chairman, can we request the Sergeant at Arms to practice his responsibility after the hearing? Because there's still other details that
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Yes, a point of order, the Honorable.
The motion was for Mr. Celis to be cited in contempt. And I think there's supposed to be a second motion.
Yes.
No, the motion should be for him to be detained. Where? Because under our law, the contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. In other words, we have to decide where to detain him and for how long, Mr. Chair. That's supposed to be the second motion.
Mr. Chair, I believe with regards to the duration, it will be up to this committee to decide. And of course, to Mr. Celis, kung kailan po niya sasagutin yung tanong natin, and then maybe we could leave the contempt. But as long as hindi pa niya sinasagot yung tanong natin, the contempt will remain.
Mr. Chairman, final statement before you talk kay Kulong.
Mr. Chair, I move for
I request that Mr. Chair,
We are not. Kindly requested the Honorable David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an earlier motion, Mr. Chair, we have already approved to cite for contempt Mr. Celis. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to detain him in the premises of Congress as per our rules on Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion duly seconded. The chair objections. The motion of the Honorable Pimentel is okay. So,
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, may be given 1 minute.
In relation to the motion,
Because that is required. Two-thirds po ang voto.
The Honorable Patuano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, ang ano lang, point of inquiry lang, kasi we are not allowed to have a detention for indefinite period of time. So we have to establish how long. And the lifting of such detention will depend on the members of this committee. Of course, with the cooperation of the person in contempt. So we have to establish how long. Because we are not allowed to detain indefinitely based on so many
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Ako is recognized.
yes, there's a decision by the Supreme Court that we cannot detain a person indefinitely. And therefore, may I move that we come up with a definite period for detention insofar as Mr. Celis is concerned. For violation of paragraph C of section 11 of the rules.
The Honorable Ako, would you like to make a motion?
May I move that Mr. Celis be detained for being cited in contempt for violation of section 11, paragraph C, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry by the members of this committee for a period of 30 days.
Mr. Chairman.
You will go on break on December 30 unless you find a motion for reconsideration. We have done this and the different committees already have covered.
There's a motion.
The reason why we cited Mr. Celis for contempt is because he does not want to answer the question. That is precisely why he violated paragraph C.
Yeah.
So why will we give him a timeline? Kung kahit hindi pala siya sumagot, papalabasin natin si Mr. Celis. The reason why we cited him for contempt, gusto nga natin nasagutin niya yung relevant inquiry natin, nasagutin niya kung sino yung source niya. So I believe that we should not give a timeline, Mr. Chair.
After finding the jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of this committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, session is suspended. Session resumes.
Mr. Chair,
Before I acknowledge the Honorable Pimentel, the due process was given to the witness and he was allowed to speak. And he cited his grounds why As a matter of fact, we gave him so much airtime that he manifested his refusal to the question of the Honorable Suarez 4 times. And so, that being said, the chair would like to call the Honorable Pimentel to manifest his the motion on the time frame.
Mr. Chair, I would like to amend my previous motion. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to detain Mr. Celis, for he was cited in
Also, an amendment to the motion of the Honorable Akop early on. There's a motion amending the motion of the Honorable Akop. Any second? Seconded. The chair hearing no objection, the chair adopts and approves the motion of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel. So the Sergeant of Arms is hereby directed to enforce the decision of this committee.
Mr. Chairman, let me make a comment in the chair.
Session suspended. Attorney Tundi.
Thank you for listening to the report.
Session suspended.
Thank you for listening to the report. Thank you for listening to the report.